Hey, I'm Karai. Like some Viktor content, some middling content? Consider subscribing, maybe even hitting that like button. It'll help me up a lot. And if you do, you'll get blue buff. Viktor Challenger. The only rule, I can only play Viktor. Unless it's banned, then we're playing Orianna. No Viktor jungle, no Viktor support, maybe Viktor Bali, and that's about it. Hello friends, welcome back to the Viktor 2 Challenger series. Today, we're up against VLADIMIR. This is a slightly harder matchup, mainly because VLADIMIR's game plan is to run us dry of mana. The way he wants to do this is to force us by trading with him, even though if he's sticking bad trades, it's still worth it as long as he's able to bully us out of mana before we get Lost Chapter. Our game plan here, as you can see, I have First Strike is to outvalue him by gold, and also other resources such as Gathering Storm and Free Boots, and also tempo with our Futures Market. We want to, I'll talk about this small mistake here. I did a small mistake here where I hit level 2 first, but I'm still trying to hard shove for no reason. At this point, I shouldn't be hitting the wave. I should just try to walk up to VLADIMIR and try to beat the shit out of him. Because I actually hit the minions a few more times than I should have, it ended up crashing wave 2 when it should have been a wave 2 and wave 3 crashing into his turret. I'll explain a bit why this is bad later on, you can see. But going back to the runes, we just want to outvalue him and stack our mana flow ban as fast as possible. Because once we get our mana flow ban, our mana issue won't really be a problem in short trades. It will be a problem if we're trying to all-in him. But once you get your mana flow ban stack, you can constantly E every time it's up since you have so much mana regen. You can see the reason why it's back, or going back to the wave management, you can see the reason why it's back set. The wave is kind of stuck in an awkward spot where it's just right in front of his turret, and if the VLADIMIR actually plays his cards right, he can actually hold the freeze here and call for his jungle to punish me. Even if the enemy jungler doesn't kill me here, they are able to deny me a couple of minions, which will give the VLADIMIR a slight EXP lead, which is exactly what the VLADIMIR wants in this kind of matchup. But fortunately, I didn't get punished for this, and VLADIMIR didn't actually try to hold the freeze. We were able to push the whole wave in. And still maintain somewhat of a control in the lane by constantly having to push against the VLADIMIR. At this point, what I should have done was try to just last hit the minions and just really wait for my First Strike to come up, and also mana flow, just to stack my mana flow up, and also my First Strike value as well. Here, kind of a weird engage by the Hecarim. I don't think we were able to kill either the VLADIMIR or the Lilia, mainly because I'm out of mana and VLADIMIR still has pool. I was able to escape by using my gravity field inside of a brush. Quick tip, if the enemy has no vision in the brush and your gravity field and you cast your gravity field in the brush, they will not see the gravity field at all. They will not see the deployment, they will not see the after deployment. So that's a quick tip if you're trying to cast someone out who is walking into a brush. Going back to the lane, you can see that we have quite a significant level disadvantage here. It's not that bad since there's still minions that haven't died on his side. And we should be able to even out the odds when we collect the minions here. But I'm pretty sure that I have the VLADIMIR is at least maybe 40 to 50% more experienced than me in terms of levels. You can see that we've also run out of mana, and we haven't actually stacked our mana flow. But not to worry, I'm pretty sure we actually stack our mana flow in just a bit. We have the health advantage here. But remember, in this matchup, because VLADIMIR can just constantly use his Q whenever it's off cooldown, he can just out-sustain us and not worry about his resource bar since he has no resource bar. Again, we're out of mana here, and what the VLADIMIR should have done was actually just to slow push the wave, or actually just last hit the wave, and just try to torture me as much as he can by walking up and preventing me to CS. But instead, he's trying to just push in the wave constantly, feeding me just free minions and free gold from the minions. So kind of a weird play from the VLADIMIR. What we want to do if the VLADIMIR actually plays it well right here. Oh, I remember this. For some reason, I've also been playing VLADIMIR, and for some reason I felt like he was going to. He's running Ignite with Electrocute. For some reason, I really thought he was going to flash E onto me and use his empowered Q and W onto me. But he didn't do all that, and it just makes that flash makes me look like a baboon. Okay, but going back to the lane again, what you should do if the VLADIMIR just tries to slow roast you is that you have to either wait for a cannon wave And just, well, in detail, you have to wait until you hit level 6, and then you want to ult the wave, and then you want to base. The Vladimir might try to freeze, so ideally you want to base with a cannon wave if you can. But overall, once once in that situation happens, it's very hard for the Viktor to kind of break out of that torment, or situation. Because again, if the Vladimir is smart, he can just hold the wave, continue to just slow grow us until we base, and then he can either fast push, hold a freeze, and he base, and then we'll just be at a disadvantage from that point onwards. Unfortunately, he didn't do that, and we're actually safe from his wall of attrition strategy here. Nevertheless, we are still, again, slightly behind in levels, but thanks to First Strike, we are able to actually get back some value, even though it's not that much. You can see that we have at least around 99 free gold just from First Strike. It's only going to get better as we scale, as we get more damage, as we are able to proc First Strike even harder. So I'm not too worried as long as the Vladimir doesn't actively tries to torture me or zone me away from CS. I'm actually in a pretty good spot. You might notice that I bought a null mental or now magic mantle here, mainly because I'm against one Vladimir who is running a very kill heavy setup with ignite, with his electrocute, and also the fact that the enemy has a Lilia. Double magic damage on the jungle and mid just makes sense for us to buy a null magic mantle here. I was worried that the Lilia might actually try to dive me, since this is looking like a dive setup, but fortunately Lilia just wants to take the Raptors here, and also the Zilean is playing really well here. He tries to cover me and also steals the big Raptor from the Lilia here. Here, I remember watching this for the first time and I was like, wait, why did I ult here? And then I realized, oh, because I don't have E to kill the melee minions coming in. May I remind you, the reason why I did it, I think, when I was in the game is that I was being very diligent in trying to have perfect CS. Because I know in this matchup, as long as you have a slight advantage, be it minions, be it levels, be it tempo, you automatically win this matchup. So let me repeat that, okay? In this matchup, you're not trying to kill the Vladimir, nor are you trying to poke the Vladimir down for you to kill him. You are just trying to make sure that, one, you don't get forced back by the Vladimir, and you want to stay in lane as long as the Vladimir, and even better, stay in lane longer than the Vladimir, if that ever happens. Or you just want to farm until you get your E upgrade and just ignore the Vladimir. That's basically a lot of the game plan in a mage versus mage matchup. But against Vladimir, you want to watch out with your mana bar. If you run out of mana too fast, you're forced to base and then you lose. If you mess up your wave management, he freezes, causes jungler to you, and he kills you. You also lose. So those are the core scenarios you want to try to avoid here. But overall, so far in this current state of the game, we are scaling up pretty well here. Again, First Strike is already providing us about half a kill, or like a bit more than half a kill here, which is again very good value here. We have 85 CS to 77 CS, also very good value here in terms of trying to scale better against the enemy Vladimir here. Again, we don't mind trading against him because we want to get our First Strike. So every time he tries to trade against us with trade against us, even though if he has Electrocute, we just want to trade back since we have First Strike just to get value out of him. I might even say it's worth it to just completely drop an ult on him just to get more value out of First Strike, even though I think Viktor's early initial ult doesn't really do that much damage. Getting a few more gold might actually be worth it. Here he tries to base, and honestly, I always thought he was gonna base. I didn't expect that he was gonna stop, but he stopped. I think he was trying to base, but he got kind of caught off guard here. after pushing that wave, we try to look around if there's anything around the minions or like around the mid lane, trying to see if there's raptors. By the way, this is a bad W. There is no way in hell that I'm ever going to stun the VLADIMIR, since VLADIMIR has tier 2 boots. And because I used that W there, I definitely should have died here, by the way. Like, I 100% should have get killed there. And like burning my flash is almost the same as killing like, you know, getting killed as well. The fact that I have no flash makes it really hard for me. Like if the VLADIMIR was again any better, will make the lane very hard for me. But just to summarize, since laning phase is kind of over at this point, is that when playing against VLADIMIR, there's two ways to play it. If you're going for a phase rush, you're just trying to scale along with him. So make sure you're not trying to make any plays that are too aggressive. You just want to prioritize CS as much as you can over poking the VLADIMIR. Because, you know, eating the VLADIMIR with like, what, 200 damage doesn't make a lot of sense, since he can just Q 3 times and heal it all back up anyways. You definitely want to upgrade your E as soon as you can. And again, watch your mana. Before you get Lost Chapter, watch your mana. This is also why you want to get Futures Market, so you can get your Lost Chapter much faster. And I think in a more in a vacuum, ticking teleport is also very good against VLADIMIR. But in this case, since we are against a Lilia, we take cleanse. And since we decided to not go for face rush, we went for first strike. We're just trying to outvalue the VLADIMIR here. Again, you can see that VLADIMIR is just trying to walk up Travis. He's a level up here, but it doesn't matter. We're just getting like 20 gold every time. At least 20 gold every time we're able to get the first strike off of him. It might even be more if I went for Liandry's, which also, by the way, I think Liandry's this game was also not too bad, since Lilia and VLADIMIR are both enemy champions that like to stack a lot of health. I'm not sure why I actually opted to go for Ludens. I think it's a preference. I think it's a habit thing. I think I like Ludens a lot, even though I'm starting to think that Liandry's is much more consistent, since Liandry's technically deals with more DPS than Ludens, which is the intended purpose of the item. Anyways, I'm just going to skip a bit here. So at this point, long story short, the enemy is really strong, especially the enemy Lilia. You can see that 2 of our inhibs are already down. But prior to me entering this bush, I already scanned the bush. And we're just trying to actually just one-tap the Lilia here. Lilia does manage to get away by a sliver of health, but I'm pretty sure Grim just goes in to clean her up. You can see that, again, we're at 2 kills, 1 death, and 8 assists. But we have very decent CS, which is the reason why we're able to keep up with these fights. I might even say the whole reason why this game exists, because the fact that we have both Sivir and Viktor, which can stall out in games a lot. So like guys, remember, farming, very important, especially on champion like Viktor. Your early game might get destroyed because you have Unga Bunga junglers, but overall you should be fine if you can CS diligently and last towards the late game. VLADIMIR just tried to engage on us in this next fight here, but unfortunately VLADIMIR didn't actually build actual good damaging items. He has a lot of CDR, a lot of like ways to not die, but in terms of dealing burst damage, he doesn't really have any of that here. So again, the game wasn't looking so hot for us, but overall we are able to make a slight comeback here. Again, the fact that I'm not dying in the early game, and the fact that we have very decent CS all the way up to this point, which allows us to have our 6 items at around like 30 minutes, really makes a difference in these kind of games when both teams have late game champions. Here I think this is our soul. Yes, this is our soul, which gives us even more potential to kite away from the enemy should we need to. So we base here, and I think the next call here is actually just try to go to Baron here. You can see, if you pause it at the scoreboard here, you can see that Lilia was actually just hard carrying, and VLADIMIR isn't doing so hot. VLADIMIR doesn't have enough CS, he doesn't have items. Plus, I believe he actually ran, because he lying in electrocute, he doesn't really have that good of scaling in terms of runes.
So we're in a really good spot here. The things to watch out for in team fights like such as these is definitely the Bard out, the Lydia sleep, Vlad not that much since he's not that ahead. I believe we actually cleaned this team fight pretty well here. So just to summarize, against Vladimir, again, watch out for your mana. If you're going first strike, just use your first strike passive to outvalue him. If you're going phase rush, just try to stay even with him. And whenever he tries to run at you, you use phase rush to run away from him. If he's running phase rush, then good luck, I guess. But in a Vladimir versus Viktor matchup, it really just depends on who is able to get towards level 16 first, who is able to get towards 3 items first. I hope you guys learned something here, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment. I'd be more than happy to help you out. And I'll definitely see you in the next video. Peace out.